Gentlemen, let's call to order the Board of Finance meeting. It's Thursday, June 18th, 6:04 p.m. Public comments, any?
No public comments.
No public comments. Let's move on to Tony's
Okay, thank you, Donovan. I have a report through May of 2026, year-end surplus, about $400,000, which would result in a decline in fund balance of about $400,000. We'd still be at over 15%, which is a good position to be in. We've had an increased surplus in taxes of $233,000. That's up from last month. We continue to receive some back taxes from properties that had owed outstanding taxes from the current year and from prior years. Intergovernmental revenue is pretty stable from last month, $160,000 surplus, mostly from two sources: excess cost grant, $74,000, and town road aid of $80,000. Charge for services is just about flat. We do have some lost rental income at the child center and some shortfall in transfer station fees, but that's offset by $163,000 receipt in building permit revenue for a solar farm, which they've started construction, if you've seen, off of Racebrook Road on the former golf course. And on expenses, we have a deficit in legal fees. We're working on an analysis of that currently. That'll be on your next agenda. I hope to have more detail by certain high-volume cases that we've had to spend some funds on, but we'll have to cover some legal fees at your next meeting. Similar with police, the police department, we've discussed this all year. As we get closer to the end of the year, I'm hopeful that the department will be able to cover a portion of the cost of the collective bargaining agreement and retroactive pay that resulted. And but there will be a shortfall of about $260,000 is my current estimate. I hope to use the surplus amity funds for that and some surplus expenditure funds for the legal fees. So I don't anticipate any. This analysis assumes that, so there won't be any fund balance or implications here.
We're not carrying anything more. This is the last month.
Correct.
This
Yeah.
will be an issue.
This is it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just so many moving parts to it. I wanted to wait until the end so I didn't have to do it twice. That's why I kept you updated the whole year and then just did it at one time. And waste management is a surplus, $60,000. That's because we've had less waste. So we have less waste, we're getting less fees. So we have a shortfall in revenues, we have a surplus in expenses. Human services, there's some staff turnover, as you've probably heard. They anticipate a surplus of about $20,000 in that department. Employee benefits, there's a surplus there of about $40,000. Some of that's related to retiree costs, some turnover there, and to some of the staff turnover, as I indicated earlier. And finally, amity surplus, just about, it's ironic, their surplus in amity is just about the same as what I anticipate the police deficit to be. It worked out that way. So it was sort of a natural fit. Those are the highlights for the fiscal year.
Any questions for Tony?
Tony, one question. The $163,000 associated with the solar farm,
Yes.
you said that's proposed solar farm, but those are actual
Yeah, it's actual
revenues?
now. Yes. When I wrote this, it was, but yes, that's actual now. They're actually doing construction.
And those are private property solar farm.
Private property, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But these are real fees, right? Like
Correct.
You're able to, yeah.
We actually received the check and it was rather deposited.
Nice.
Do we have the location of those farms?
It's former golf course.
It's on Racebrook Road.
On Racebrook
across
Road.
from the cross.
Is that Mac Baldwin's
Yes.
property at one point?
Here, Homewood Acres, I think it's
Right,
called.
right. Was it
Yeah.
a,
I used
was
to
it a
play there.
9-hole?
It was
It was, actually, it was
Small,
11
right?
holes.
Yeah,
I think there was 11 holes, right?
well, including the practice
Just-
hole.
yeah, there
we
was a
had
couple practice
I
holes.
read golf courses, you can tell.
Right.
Sure. I didn't realize
And then
that
the
they
other
did
one
that.
was on the same property as the cell tower.
Interesting.
I guess it'll be far back from the road and a bunch of different
Correct.
things of so okay. All right. All set, Tony?
All set, yeah.
All set? Good. Let's go over the funding requests.
Oh, actually, I do have one update, one other financial update for you. So at the last, the Board of Selectmen was a special meeting. The state, after discussing the additional funds we received from the state after you voted on and adopted budget, our mill rate was 34.02. The state is indicated, and our town attorney agreed that we had to take those and lower our mill rate. So there was special legislation to allow us to do that after the fact, and it directed the Board of Selectmen to do that, not the Board of Finance, interestingly enough, although the Board of Finance is the body that typically sets the mill rate. So the Board of Selectmen met and did lower the mill rate to 33.99, up from 34.02. I just wanted to mention that.
And, I'm sorry, so that was driven by,
The
rebate?
state had given us extra education funds,
oh, okay.
if you remember, like after the process, sort of,
Approximately $40,000.
$40,000.
Okay.
And we were just gonna not do anything because it was after the fact and, it didn't really move the needle too much, and so you all decided not to do anything. And then they got back to us and said, well, you have to do something.
Okay.
But not the Board of Finance, it's the Board of
Why
Selectmen.
did they choose to have the board of, we don't know, really.
There's a lot of questions from a lot of towns.
Yeah,
Why did they choose Board of Selectmen?
yeah.
I think it's because, this is my own opinion, but because it was in lieu of a town meeting that's set by the Board of Selectmen.
And most
I think
towns
that's
already
why.
had their meetings. and
They're
this
like
we
the
had-
legislative group.
We had to have it done by a certain date, so.
Right.
Interesting.
That's the only thing I can think
Yeah.
of, that they had the selectmen do it.
Yeah, I see some controversy in neighboring towns where they thought the money would go to education.
Right.
Town lowered the mill rate.
Right.
Now schools.
They clarified that issue too in this letter they sent. Yeah.
All right. Funding requests. I'll make a motion for line item transfer number 2526-33 in the amount of $5,300. And this
Second
is
it before we discuss.
Yes.
Second it.
second it. And this is to replace UPSs removed in anticipation of 2026 funds.
Right.
All right.
We moved it from the budget.
Okay.
Uninterrupted power supply. Okay.
Not a postage.
Right.
Right.
Not a
The
delivery.
delivery service, right.
Interesting.
My
That-
question is about the human, I'm sorry.
No,
You're
go
gonna
ahead.
ask the same
Please.
thing, the human
Yep.
services ban, because I noticed it's.
Because-
Another account as well.
Yes, is that what your same question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had provided, the town had provided matching funds for a human services van, which was essentially, I think it was 15,000 from the town and like 65,000 from the state. Well, what happened was this, prices of the vans went way up, and so after speaking with Jeanette, she didn't feel like because of the increased cost, it was something that we needed to do. So she said, I'm not going to apply for the grant. We don't need another van. We can keep what we have. The cost is just too expensive. And so that's why we're no longer applying for that.
All right. All in favor?
Paul?
Yes,
Are you in favor?
Yep.
yes,
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, line item transfer 2526-34 in the amount of $12,000. And this is to replace the fire panel in the center building.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions on this one?
We've talked about
Pretty
this in the
straightforward.
past, so.
Yeah.
Straightforward? All in
This is
favor?
also coming from the
Yeah, that was why the question.
And a boiler.
In the boiler, yeah.
All in favor?
In favor, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, line item transfer number 2526-35 in the amount of $6,117. And this request is to transfer donations from Earth Day to the Board of Selectmen budget to pay for Earth Day expenses. Get a second? All in favor? Pretty straightforward.
In favor, yes.
Thank you. Suspense list, Tony, if you don't mind.
Sure. The suspense list is provided by the tax collector. And this is something that is provided each year. The accounts are transferred to suspense and removed from consideration as an asset of the town, but are not abated as a tax liability. So we continue to collect or attempt to collect the taxes, but are removed as an asset. So personal property, motor vehicle, and real estate suspense taxes are collected whenever possible. So the Board of Finance has to approve the suspense list.
Would you like me to make a motion, Donovan, to approve we had it last month, right? We got
It's
it.
the preliminary, was last
yeah.
month, yeah.
This is the final one. I'll make a motion that we approve the suspense list as presented from the town tax collector.
Second it? Second it.
Yeah, so this is just a moving these receivables from the balance sheet
Correct.
to, yeah.
That's basically
but
it.
we're still trying to collect.
We still collect them, but it's removed from the balance sheet. Yeah.
All in favor? Is it accounting?
Aye.
It's an accounting, yeah, it's an accounting move.
Let's make a motion to approve the minutes dated May 27, 2026. Any corrections? Any? None? Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the next item on the agenda, we need to appoint a Board of Finance member to the Beach Road Building Committee. Any,
Sorry.
any volunteers?
I volunteer.
Got it.
So,
Would you make a motion, Donovan?
make a motion to nominate, Tom
And I
to
will
the,
happily second that, finally, after 12 months. Good job. Thank you
100,
for taking that on.
well, 118 meetings, is that cap,
Something like that.
weekly? Thanks, Tom.
I will say
We
that
appreciate it.
next week's meeting will include another tour of the building if anyone is interested, and we're gonna talk finances a bit, right, Tony?
Yep, I'll have some preliminary information about the finances, but not the complete report, which will be presented to this board and to the selectmen.
Finances around the cost?
Yeah, the debt,
The debt?
yeah,
Okay.
the debt service, and not the cost of the project so much, but the
Right.
debt service and the impact on the budget and average tax bill, that kind of stuff.
Great.
How can you figure out?
Tom, what day is that meeting with the walkthrough?
Tuesday, the
23rd.
23rd. And
Thank
for
you.
anybody who's listening, get there a little early, because the tour happens earlier, but
Right.
we'll be meeting in the south building, but the actual meeting is in the rotunda, because rec is using the room that we usually use, so.
Okay.
Without knowing the cost of the project, how can you determine the debt service, or is it?
15,
So there's
I
a
think,
budget
is the
for the
is
project?
the
Look it
walkthrough.
up on their website.
Yeah, I think it's 6:15 through the
Yeah.
walkthrough, and then 7 o'clock for the meeting.
So it's all based off assumptions,
Uh-huh.
which I'll clearly identify, but it's assumption on the cost of the project, it's an assumption on the grant reimbursement from the state, and then the other projects and the timing of all those projects, and the cash flow, particularly of the school project, which is what took the longest to get. I have that now, so you could map out when you have to borrow the money to be able to pay the bills.
Are we going to review that at an upcoming Board of Finance?
Yeah, oh yeah,
meeting?
yeah.
Okay.
It'll be more detail at the Board of Finance meeting.
Okay.
The one next week is just some high level.
So would that be next month? Would we take a look at it?
Could be, yeah. Yeah.
Are we meeting next month or August?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, we don't meet.
We don't meet in August.
Take
right,
August
next
off?
month, yeah.
August. We're meeting in
One
July.
more, right?
Okay.
But yeah, next month I can certainly have it
Cool.
ready. I'll also have as Beth mentioned, a debt policy draft for
Great.
you as
Yeah,
well.
we had talked about it, and I thought it'd be helpful. We're getting into liaison report, but I was at the police meeting the last few weeks, and there's not a number there. Admittedly, they sort of need a range or some help with it, but they haven't, it depends obviously on what the architect that they choose comes back with, but I thought it would be helpful, given the fact that came up, that the police building, the HVAC, the school, the roofs, there's a lot of things, and we thought it'd be
Yep.
helpful. So I thought I called Tony this afternoon, and just about possibly getting that debt service to, that policy to us, so it will guide us, I hope, as to how we proceed with all this.
So possibly amending what exists
Possible
today.
debt, yeah. and
Right,
whether
this
or
is,
not we
there,
need
there
to-
is the policy.
There is a policy. This
Yeah.
one's going to be. I've got a draft of it already. It's going to be a lot more descriptive, and I think you'll
Okay.
like it. Yeah.
So I was hoping we could bring it up, maybe the next
Perfect.
month, 'cause since we're not meeting in August and this stuff is coming down the track.
Fast.
Yeah.
It's a train. Yep. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for that, Tony.
Sure.
To make us feel any better, my 8-year-old told me, Dad, there was a flooding. 2 classes were flooded. Teacher. I said, what? But I guess things are in bad shape.
Great.
I thought they fixed the roof. I'm surprised to hear that.
I wonder which room it was.
One section of the roof
Yeah.
was fixed. All right. First selectman report.
Couple of things. First of all, very good news. We received a $1 million congressional grant that was awarded through Rosa DeLauro for our police department emergency operations center. It goes beyond just providing what the operations center is right now, a room that they use for a meeting room that they use. It's a multi-use room. This will actually outfit. This will allow us to outfit it truly as an emergency operations center. And as importantly to me, from my perspective, it gives us some funding to begin that project, to at least do some things there that will hopefully tie into the overall project that we're trying to get done. I attended a Witness Stone exhibit at the library, and this past Saturday they actually had the Witness Stone that they presented, the actual Witness Stone dedication and ceremony at Darling House. The 6th graders at Beach just did a phenomenal job. If you have an opportunity to go to the library meeting room, you'll see some of the work that they've done, but it was just truly just a real moving and great indication as to what our students are who our students are and what their thoughts are. So it was very rewarding. We're working on Allison Valsamis, my former executive assistant, is now our community communications and programming coordinator, and she is starting to work on website improvements and rolling out some communication strategies that hopefully will improve our overall communications with our town. But she's started in that role as of June 1st, with the knowledge that she would be overlapping. So I'm looking to replace our executive assistants along with a few other job openings that I'll get into a little bit. The Beecher, as Tom mentioned, the next event is on the 23rd. I expect the Board of Selectmen will also have some forums some public sessions in regard to the Beecher project as we move forward. So more information coming out on that. And we are going to celebrate our 250 years of community for the 250-year birthday of our country with a great Woodbridge picnic on July 11th from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock on the Grove, centered around, and we're hopeful that we'll be using our community and cultural center, kind of a soft opening, just to introduce people to the center with some programs and things happening there. And we also, at our last meeting, Conservation Commission is working on a grant. It's a significant grant for a forestry grant. We're working with them on that. They're looking for some resolutions from the town in terms of indicating some parts of our Fitzgerald tract and/or our country club property that could be used to leverage the grant, and that does everything from forestry type type activities that reinforce the forests. In some cases, it's actually taking trees down to enable it to grow the way it needs to. But certainly it does also encompass invasive species remediation, which is a big thing, and funding would help tremendously on that. We are signing a agreement with the Amity High School program for use of our room 16 over at our center building, for them to use for one of their programs. We are at a point now where the Board of Selectmen called for a public hearing on the Lucy Street lease, the Warner complex, the elderly complex on Lucy Street. This is for us to be able to sign a new lease with a new landlord. That will be new Samaritan. So truly, if we can fully execute this and get this going, it would be a win-win-win for everybody involved. Because not only are we being provided with a landlord who this is what they do, it would, right now, 6 of the 30 units are deed restricted as affordable. Part of this deal makes all 30 units deed restricted. That actually provides us some points toward a moratorium that we are trying to work toward. It also would provide additional capital in the amount of over $2 million for capital improvements to the complex that are much needed. The previous landlord was able to maintain low rents that kept these units as qualifying as affordable from the rent rate standpoint, but obviously not from a deed restricted standpoint. So it does include a tax relief type of an arrangement. It's 5% of their gross rental is what the tax relief would be. That's what they would pay for taxes in lieu of. That's what they would pay in lieu of taxes, I should say. We did have a discussion as relates to the lights on Acorn Hill. We're waiting for additional information, but that's something that certainly the public has expressed an interest in both sides. Neighbors are not, neighbors feel that the town made a commitment that there would not be lights. I agree with that assessment because the documentation shows that we did make a commitment to that effect. So now it's a matter of determining what next steps would take place. What else? Oh, we did approve the cost of living increase for non-union full-time and regular part-time employees at 2.5%. And we had did have an executive session. We are in the process of hiring senior center director, public works director, administrative officer, and a few other positions that folks who have retired and/or have left. So we've got a lot that we're doing from a personnel standpoint in terms of expanding. It's important to note, now that Tony's left, but that Tony will be starting very, very soon as a part-time finance director only. Mm-hmm. We're anxious. We've gotten some great candidates that we're evaluating for the administrative officer's position. We're trying to move as quickly as we can on this so that we can get somebody in here to fill that role. Very excited about that being the case. Once we do that, we'll start toggling over to some of the other roles as well, such as the executive assistant from my perspective and the assistant administrative officer once this new person comes in. But we did receive a commitment from the Capital Region Council of Governments for the grant funding for helping with Tony's position. We received an indication from the state that the contract has been sent. We're just waiting for final signatures on that, and then we can move forward with the whole reorganization.
Just one question. How
Sure.
about the economic development person?
Yes, we're working with Rex on the economic development specifically, and we have the job title, and we're working with them on they have outlets where they subscribe to it. Rex is working with us very, very closely on this, and they expect. I was just met with the leader of Rex today, who indicated that by next week I should have some additional information in terms of, where we are with candidates and/or moving forward. We're also going to be moving forward with the Country Club of Woodbridge Property Master Plan, in the sense of, first, we're going to try to reintroduce people there, so we'll have some programs there. More importantly, Rex is providing us a $50,000 grant so that we can do phase 2 remediation to determine exactly what it'll take to bring down the clubhouse, and also remediate where we may have to do some additional remediation on the property. So at least we'll have an assessment, so that if we're moving forward, we want to issue a request for expression of interest to solicit partners who will work with us on this, on our vision, rather than an RFP that says, here's what we're looking for, tell us how much, tell us what you can do. And we've started a website, so we'll start disseminating information on this, but it is an activity that I'm committed to moving forward, so as to see what we can do on that property.
So is Rex heading up the search for the economic development director? Or
They're guiding us in terms of where we should be submitting the, where we should put in the, not the application, the position, the job opening. In addition to where we would normally do it,
so where we would advertise it then?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Easy way to say it. Exactly right. But they also helped us in terms of the position. We had some great conversations with them, because they were saying, okay, are you looking for, there were like 4 different versions of an economic development person you could be looking for. Somebody who's already established and you just want to go out there and work to see about bringing some businesses in, somebody who's going to do assessments on the business district to determine exactly what direction we have to go, somebody who's going to strategize and work with zoning to do the zoning regulations. And so what is it that we're looking for specifically? So we had some discussions along those lines. And of course we said all of the above. Is really what we want. But obviously those positions are hard to find. I have talked to a number of different other communities to see if there's any job sharing available. I've talked to our Council of Government in regards to job sharings and resources that we could use. So we expect that it'll be out on the street by next week is my expectation. And with their help, I expect us to get some solid candidates. We have already started interviewing for our Public Works position. We've got more interviews to go, so we're still working on that, so I don't have much to offer along those lines. And we're having some challenges with our with our senior center. So in terms of getting applicants who qualify and who fit in our budget. So there's much going on along those lines.
Is there an expected time when we'll have someone in the role?
Of which one, Paul?
Economic development.
I don't have a target. My personal target when we had discussed this with them was by the end of August, by beginning of fall, by the end of the summer.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
So it's really going to come down to the candidates and the compensation.
Did they give you feedback on the compensation based on, the job descriptions you're hoping for?
We're looking for part-time.
Okay.
It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
Specifically because of that, because most other folks would be looking obviously for full-time,
Right.
and pay for full-time. So the challenge will be, so we're looking at different ways of doing that, even working with Rex to see if there's resources that we can have available to us. Not, like, for example, we have a retainer arrangement with our attorney, we have a retainer arrangement with our town planner, and we're not looking for that for this. We're looking for somebody who's going to spend, and we've made it very, very clear, we're looking for somebody who's going to spend 20 hours a week working for Woodbridge in Woodbridge. So not as we need. We're not looking to pull resources. This is something that somebody's going to go forward with. So, Tony, anything that I forgot with regards to?
I think you covered it all.
Mika, I have a question about
Please.
Lucy Street. That's a public hearing?
No, I'm sorry. If I said that, I'm mistaken. It's actually a special town meeting.
Okay.
It's
Meaning
because
they're going to vote?
it would have to be
Are there
vote. We're looking
requirements to have a
for
certain number of
100, quorum is 100 individuals.
So that's got to get sent out if folks.
Correct.
What happens if there are not 100 people?
We've looked at that. There's some potential for the Board of Selectmen to make a decision in a situation like that, because it's financially, there's a financial implication to this with the lease. But we're looking to see if we can get the 100 people.
what's the date?
It's July 8th.
Oh, it's
It'll be
July.
7:30 on July 8th. It's the day of our Board of Selectmen meeting. We're going to have a short meeting, and then we're going to adjourn to the special town meeting.
And
So,
anyone
please.
can come as long as you're a.
Resident,
is this
voting
the
resident.
one that, no, we're not buying land, so it's just,
Right.
yeah,
This
okay.
is just for signing a lease
Got
because
it.
it's,
Okay.
the
Got
lease
it.
is a 70-year lease as opposed to what it started out with a 60-year lease. Has to do with how what Chaffa requires in terms of what their arrangements are. However, even at 70 years, the tax relief is a 30-year agreement and can't be more than that. So tax relief stays the
Thank
same.
you so much.
But thank you for that distinction, Beth. That's pretty important. So by all means, it's, the residents are very, very excited about this. They've been through a lot. And this, what I can tell you is that when we started this process a little over a year ago, probably a year and a half ago, we were told by Chaffa at the time that it could be a 3 to 5 year process. So for us to be at this point right now is a testament to the state, Chaffa, and New Samaritan all feeling like this is something that just had to happen quickly. So it's very, very exciting about this.
It's so needed.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
really needed. Yeah.
So anything we can do to get 100 people there, it would be wonderful.
Save me a town.
I'll pick up people.
And I'll start
Need a ride, call
making
me.
sure we get it out. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Mika.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were awarded silver certification by Sustainable CT. It's no small matter. We had bronze years ago. We were able to attain bronze. We let it lapse. We just didn't. Silver
There's so much
is
staff time involved.
exactly.
You know,
It's
just-
amazing effort on the
Yeah.
parts. And what's interesting is that the process is one that the benefit is in the process. What you
Right.
need to do in order to qualify are things that make you more responsible from a sustainability standpoint and from a community standpoint. And for us to go from bronze last year to silver this year, it was really, really testament to the efforts of Allison Valsamis with Hillary Drum and her sustainability committee. It was, we should be proud of it, and they've made it clear that we should be. So there'll be a ceremony in the fall for that.
And
But
if you don't mind, Mika, explain what sustainability is. What is that?
The Sustainable CT is an organization within Connecticut that helps communities with their efforts toward being more sustainable. That's renewable energy. That's recycling, composting. It includes a number of different things, but there's also community events play a part into it. What you're doing in terms of how certain processes that you have as a town play into it. So it's and you have to document all of this in terms of one, you have to plan it, do it, and then document it. So it was, as I say, it's a big effort. They're hopeful that what will come out of this, it's not there now, but they're hopeful that this will help in terms of qualifying for grants in the future, which it doesn't right now. It may have an impact that we're not aware of, but that's not the reason you're doing it. But it certainly helps the town in a lot of other ways.
And how long is it good for? I mean, the bronze one was 3 years?
I think it's you kind of do something. I think 3 to 5 years each.
You have to keep doing stuff.
You have to the next level is gold, which is there's a couple of very specific actions that need to be taken in order to reach that are very significant. So, but we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Mika.
You're welcome.
Liaison reports?
Does anybody have, I have, fire is meeting next Monday, so I'll have that report for you next month. And I kind of already told you what's going on with the police department building renovation committee. They're doing the architect interviews and looking to come up with a budget, and they're moving. They meet every Wednesday at 4 o'clock at the police department, if anybody's interested, and they're really doing a very good job of moving quickly, so it's a good group.
All right.
Donovan, I should have mentioned the Great Woodbridge Picnic is a collaboration with the town, the library, and the Amity and Woodbridge Historical Society, all involved, so.
It's like a food fest for
It
5
is.
hours,
It
wow.
is. There will also be, I believe at our
11
July 8th
picnic,
meeting,
whoa.
one of the things that we'll be doing, I think, July 8th was the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed. So we'll be reading the Declaration, and they're asking
Interesting.
communities throughout the state to read it on that day. It just so happens to be the day that they asked me to dress up, but I don't know if I can pull off George Washington or any of the others. So, but
Joe Hello.
Regular
Yeah.
police update, they met on Monday. The only real highlight I have is there was some commentary around their overtime, and there was a little push around why do we continue to, overspend against overtime, and so we had a little conversation around what is the budgeting process where they start the year. Do they assume that they're fully staffed, right, and then they
Correct.
have all sorts of short. So
Yes.
I think there's just a matter of I'm going to try to take a look at, like, hey, does it net out, right, when you take the salaries out and
Yes,
you
it
take the
usually
overtime
does.
and
Yeah.
right. So there was some back and forth though on should we budget more for overtime, and
Historically, we budget for a full complement of officers, and we underfund overtime, because rarely is there a full complement of officers. Now, with this new contract, that might be a different story. But usually there's always an injury,
right.
or it's a vacancy, or what have you.
Right.
So that's historically has worked for many years.
Right.
Yeah.
Scott, if I could ask, as a liaison for finance, if we could just start making sure there's discussions related to speed technology and potential speed tables.
Speed
And,
tables.
like humps, speed
Yeah.
humps in different areas.
Okay.
Particularly, I know on Beecher Road, there's been a number of different complaints, so I know the Traffic Commission gets involved in some of
Okay.
that discussion, but if, I'd like to, maybe get a report and update on that as well, and I'll ask see if there's any, I think Amy liaises, but she's really liaising with the building committee more so than just the,
She is, yeah.
just the.
Okay. So yeah, there's always the traffic is at the end of that meeting.
Yes.
So just inquire about speed tables specifically on Beecher.
Speed tables, not specifically on Beecher. We've looked at it in Newton, we've looked at it at different places. The stop
Okay.
sign in Newton seemed to really have helped.
Okay.
But like Baldwin Avenue the studies, the chief has done he's done great work with analysis. It's just, okay, so now when are we gonna put that all together and decide what the best action to take is?
Okay.
And I think the technology that's out there right now is, SCROG just recently brought on firms that do this as resources that we could use to give us the information that we need. So it's something that I was going to talk to Chief on. I just thought I'd mention it
Okay.
to you as well.
I will bring it up.
So
Thank you.
technology, including cameras
Correct.
and stuff like that.
Correct.
Okay, got
Correct.
it. Yeah, you're seeing those like a lot more in neighboring towns. so-
Absolutely. We have an added challenge because our main drags and ones where people speed the most are state roads.
Yeah.
But
That's
And we
right.
can't do anything with that, you have to.
no,
do
we
state road.
can get to state, but there's a process that you
Right.
have to go through. Yes, but
It's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else?
no, I'm sure I'll think of something if you give me a minute.
Donovan's looking over to me like, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Did we want to make reference to the meeting that we just
Oh,
had?
yeah,
Okay.
sure. So we had
Okay,
our-
never mind, I withdraw.
Sorry.
That motion.
So close.
Sorry.
We had our initial homestead meeting and we kicked off with sharing some scenarios, 5 to 35%. We talked about having a cap and how that impacts non-qualifying residents. I guess the next step is for us to work with equality using actual assessment numbers and coming up with some real benefits. But the more important question is at what cost, to see who that impacts more and what's the cost is to a commercial versus non-qualifying. But more to come. We have one more meeting, one more Board of Finance meeting. Hopefully we can have some ranges that we could present to the group. And
But we do know from the last meeting, in terms of an ordinance, I think August was like a critical timing.
It really
We
is.
don't have a meeting in
You're right.
August, so I think July is going to be pretty
July will have to be
critical.
it. Yep.
make
Yeah,
rec-
so it'll
make-
have to be
make
all
a
those meetings,
recommendation.
just, over the next couple weeks, basically,
Right.
to,
Yeah.
to finalize.
That's going to be, unfortunately, that's what we're up against.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the question is, how fast can equality help us?
Thank you for taking that on.
That's the
It's
question.
really helpful.
If
Full
houses-
disclosure,
sorry.
Donovan did all the work for this last meeting.
If someone has one of those, what are they, ADUs, that we were talking about potentially doing, my assumption is that that doesn't qualify, right, for that part of the property doesn't qualify for the homestead?
It's a great question.
The full assessed value includes both properties and structures on the properties, so whatever the assessed value is what's gonna count. But
But,
if you have an ADU on your property, that's gonna impact on your assessed value.
It is, but I think Tom's question is if you're renting that out, right? How does that, do they parse that out somehow in terms of the
I would think they
rental?
would have to, right, because it's supposed to be your primary dwelling,
Right.
and if you're subletting
Yeah.
a building on your property, then that would have to be carved out in some fashion.
Because that boosts the value, the assessed value, and you could potentially, if it's a percentage base,
Right.
get too much benefit from it, basically, right? Because it's partially not owner occupied.
Just
I'm
something.
not seeing it that way, but I
Well,
don't
I'm
know
just
the
trying
answer
to
to
follow
your
up
I
with
question.
just,
I
I
don't know.
don't, I mean,
I've not seen anything mentioned.
I don't think we have a lot of those anyway, but I just
Right.
thought.
Yeah.
that-
But you found the nuance, Tom. That's great. Now we'll all,
Yeah.
spend the next couple of weeks contemplating.
Glad to be of help.
Yeah.
That's not something that I've seen come up in any of the conversations that topics or,
I
because it's
guess,
just strictly
yeah.
based on assessed value of
Property itself. That's-
owner occupied property.
that's right.
So if you're
Assessed
living in the
value.
house and you have an ADU, good for you.
That's the
Yeah.
You know
question,
what I
is
mean? It's
that,
like,
Right.
Right.
it's really what I think it boils down to.
I'm just asking you.
Mhm. That's worth asking.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now,
Go for it.
Go for it.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.